Green Table Talks partners. This is Deirdra Cox here, president and founder of Community Sustainability Enterprise. Let me first of all, or second of all, or third of all say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. Thank you for coming back into the CSE Zoom room and joining us for Pandemic Christmas 2020 with our partner, Peach State Federal Credit Union. We are grateful that they have joined us in the space and that they've sponsored this impactful workshop series. So today, I want to talk with you about the new psychology of money. It has everything to do with making a move from maximizing to minimizing your budget. Now, everybody out there in Green Table Talk webinar land knows that we at CSE are all about our first pillar is mental and physical wellness. So your mind has got to be right so that your money will follow. And I want to share some things with you that are very near and dear to me as it relates to coming out of this pandemic holiday, this pandemic Christmas, better, not bitter, and with your mind stayed on your presence, not the presence. Because right now it's all about your presence, you showing up, being bold, being confident, being disciplined, being accountable for what you say you're going to do for you and your family financially. So let's talk about it. Let's get straight to it. So let's talk a little bit about delayed gratification. This is again about maximizing your impact as it relates to minimizing your budget, right? So this is about you fortifying yourself from the inside out. So delayed gratification. Are you settling for smaller, immediate rewards versus or opposed to being focused on strategically saving for a mid or long-term goal? A new car because you've got 300,000 miles on your car and right now it's costing you too much to maintain it? Or is your midterm goal, because you've been working on this goal, home ownership? Don't get sidetracked during pandemic Christmas 2020. So do not allow yourself to be gratified by going out to eat 5 days a week. When you see other people doing something that you want to do, you decide that you're going to abandon your goal. Don't do it. So again, what I want to say is this: better impulse control. Discipline yourself to delay gratification. Now's the time to begin to say these things to yourself. Okay, I'm going to delay immediate gratification. Focus and be committed on my long-term and midterm goals, because guess what? I matter and my family matters. I want you to think about that. And then we talk about scarcity. So I can recall so very dearly and nearly in my life, scarcity mentality was something that I struggled with because of what I had been through in my childhood. So I was always afraid something was going to be taken from me. So let's talk a little bit about this. This is number two, principle number two, the scarcity principle. The less available something is, the more attractive and desirable it becomes. Buying decisions made from this perspective are going to create pressure to buy something just because it's unavailable or you perceive that it's going to be unavailable soon. Can I say this to you? Your perception is reality. Whatever you perceive, you believe, and whatever you believe is what you receive or don't receive. So don't think that everything that you see or something that you see, that's the only one. We live in an abundant world. There's an abundance of things. And I promise you, if you stay focused and disciplined on your goals, the very things that you desire to be a part of, your big picture goals, they will happen because you are operating from a place of discipline. So again, if you see something that says limited, for instance, because media and the advertisements are working to really manipulate our emotions right now. So when you see the ad that says limited time only, limited offer, there's only 2 left, don't buy into that principle. Don't buy into it. Discipline yourself. So shake off the fear of loss and move forward in the vision and the focus that you have set for yourself. If you have established for yourself that you're going to accomplish some midterm and long-term goals because you've got values, because remember we talked about values. So your values are centered around your family. They're centered around home ownership. They're centered around you creating a legacy for your family. You can't get caught up in advertisements. Okay. So stay focused on your long-term and your midterm goals. Let's talk a little bit about social facilitation. This is principle number 3. What's that mean? Well, so social facilitation is sometimes being around others and other people who can make better decisions than you. I really believe, and one of the things you'll hear me talk about here at CSE is that I believe you got to have 3 kinds of people in your life. Somebody that knows more than you do, who is disciplined, and who's accomplished some things that you are seeking to accomplish because you've set goals for yourself, but also someone who has been able to really press in and move beyond the demons in their life. And they've been able to accomplish something through sheer discipline and will, and it was a goal that they set for themselves. That's a mentor. That's what I call that. Then somebody who thinks like you do, but who's also on the same, you all hear me talk about the level up. Somebody who is leveling up to the same degree that you are. You all are grinding out your goals together. You guys can commiserate with one another when things seem like they're going wrong, and you say, but I've got to press in because this is important to me. You got to have that person in your life, because that's the person that's going to push you when you don't feel like being pushed. And then you got to have somebody that is not there where you are, but they want to come along and they need a mentor. So that's your mentee. So can I say that? So social facilitation is about making sure that during this time in the holidays that you have aligned yourself and that you are keeping company with the right people for whatever it is that you know is a temptation for you, so that you're not tempted to be around people and you see them running around buying gifts and you decide that you're going to do the same thing. So you completely run away from your budget and you want to do what they're doing. You have no clue what they're doing in their house. You don't know what their budget is. So don't stop and adapt yourself to someone else. Stay true to what you said you're going to do. Okay. So don't get caught up in the sense of competition. Please continue to move beyond that. Okay. And if I can say this to you as well, please don't leave home without your shopping list. Whatever it is you said you were going to get when you went out, make sure you've written it down and that you have it, because you have to have a form of accountability. You've got to be able to be accountable while you're out in the wilds. Because let me tell you, it's a jungle out here in these streets when you're out here shopping. And there's too many things that can distract us because we're still in the middle of a pandemic, everybody. So there's a lot of things that can distract. And right now, you need to stay focused. Stay focused. Okay. And if I can say this too, one of the things that I love is the Dave Ramsey envelope method. So again, if you need to have a budget. Okay, I know that we're not supposed to say you need. May I recommend, may I strongly suggest that you have a regular budget before you engage in the holiday spending, because your regular budget is going to tell you whether or not you've got the disposable income to be able to budget for the holidays. So make sure you stick true to your needs versus your wants, everybody. But I believe in the Dave Ramsey model. I believe that whatever it is that you write down on your list that you say you want and it's in your budget, put that cash in an envelope. Don't look to your credit cards, put that cash in an envelope and stick with the cash. Okay. So again, keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is the goals you have set for yourself and your ability, willingness, and accountability to accomplish those goals. So again, it's not the presents, it's your presence that matters. When you show up being the best version of yourself that you can be, that's the presence that everybody else around you needs to see so that they too can be encouraged to come out of this pandemic better, not bitter. So let's talk a little bit about the psychology of spending money and spending money that you know you should not spend. So that's a universal experience, if I can say that. And it not only stresses you out, it stresses your budget out. And then your mental and emotional countenance is completely compromised. And now you're having a really difficult time thinking through what you really should be doing. So please do not grope around in the darkness anymore. Do not grope around in the darkness anymore, spending money that you shouldn't spend and then beating yourself up. Self-flagellation. We're done with that. We're not doing that. We're going to make wise decisions because we're capable of making wise decisions. So don't veer to the left and veer to the right. Stick with what you know you've said you're going to do for you and for your family. So don't grope around in the darkness anymore. This pandemic Christmas, it's going to uncover your individual motivations for spending as well as your beliefs. So I encourage you right now during this time to get really close, get really familiar with what your beliefs are. And if there are beliefs that you have that are no longer serving you, I encourage you to do some therapy. I encourage you, if you're currently gainfully employed and you have an EAP and an employee assistance program, an employee assistance program, I encourage you to seek out some counseling. Do not let this pandemic and your emotions and the emotional inconsistency that you may feel, don't let that lead you down the wrong path. You started something and you're going to finish, and you're going to finish strong, and CSE is going to finish with you. So now we're beyond that. I want to talk about some triggers. I want you to stay focused and be mindful of triggers, right? So why do you spend? Ask yourself that. Why do you spend? Is it social media pressure? Do you want to make sure that you've got the selfie and you're standing in front of some place and someone that you saw somebody else standing in front of because you want to be liked and you want to get a whole bunch of likes? Is that what it is? So is social media driving you? Is that a trigger for you? When you see somebody else has 300 likes, you want to jump in and do the same thing they're doing? Remember, we don't know what's going on in their budget. We don't know what's going on in their household. So do not be moved. That's an emotional response. So is the temptation to pay with plastic? I tell you, that swipe and that chip, it'll get you every time. Because here's the lie. The lie is, well, if I charge it now, I don't have to pay for it now because I can pay for it later and I can keep my cash in my pocket. Well, guess what? If you are not managing your money and you don't know where you're spending your money and keeping track of where your money's going, and you didn't establish a budget prior to the holiday time, then you might get the double whammy, boom, boom, in 2021. So not only did you spend your cash that you had not budgeted to spend, but now you've got additional credit that you've accumulated. So now it's going to hit you because you have to pay that back. You cannot charge and not pay. It doesn't work that way. So remember, you're going to pay now or pay later. And then family spending habits. What are your family spending habits? What did you see your mom and daddy doing during this time? Because I can tell you this, if you saw your parents being spenders and you didn't see them saving, I was blessed to have a combination of two. So somewhere along the way, I have been blessed to know the right thing to do. Do I always do it? I don't. But I tell you what, it presses in on me because I saw what it looked like. I saw my grandfather spend his money wisely and I saw him save, and he opened my first savings account. So I'm grateful that that's a part of my DNA. But I also saw people in my family who made 6 digits, who spent, and spent. And that was a part of their life because there were some other things going on that they never got therapy for. So I'm telling you. So family spending habits, acknowledge, what does that look like for you? What are your families, or what were your family spending habits? And what spending habits are you creating now that could potentially be that legacy piece that you pass on to your children? Don't pass on the curse, pass on the blessing. Okay, Merry Christmas. Special occasions like holidays, do you feel compelled to just go out there and do everything that everybody else is doing? So if you don't factor these special occasions, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, birthdays, factor those special occasions into your budget so that you're writing down what you can spend into your budget and you're not just making willy-nilly decisions, okay? And then last but not least, emotional spending. Spending when you are feeling down, when you're feeling depressed. I remember doing that, spending when I was feeling down, when I was feeling depressed. And guess what? When the bills came, I felt even more depressed. So please, let's not do that. Create new, productive, emotionally, financially productive habits that support your financial growth and the growth of your children. So I'm going to leave you with this. Identify your triggers, know what triggers you to go off the rails and do the wrong thing. Set financial goals before you get into the holidays. If you've not done it, it's not too late. Set financial goals now. Track your spending. Whatever you spend, whatever you swipe, whatever you pull out of your pocket, make sure you are tracking it and you know exactly where those dollars are going. Name every dollar. Allocate a few things into your budget. And allocate some fun stuff into your budget because nobody wants to feel deprived. So allocate a few fun things into your budget. And then pause before buying. If you feel yourself about to go off on a tangent and make a decision that you know you didn't think about and your brain is racing and you're about to go do something you know is going to lead you down the wrong path, stop, breathe, go take a walk. Find an accountability partner. And can I say this to you? Please forgive yourself for any financial mistakes that you've made, because guess what? You have another opportunity to get it right. So thanks for joining us for this holiday season of Green Table Talks, the pandemic Christmas 2020 version. We are so grateful that you joined us. We are grateful that you are deciding what you want to do with your holiday budget so that you can come out of 2020 better, not bitter, and walk into 2021 with a focus and accomplish your goals. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays. Thanks again for joining us here at CSE's Green Table Talks, the holiday pandemic 2020 edition. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.